Recording.
Hello, we're joined by Terry. How are you doing, Terry?
Hello, you hardcore boxing fans. How you doing, Russ? You all right?
I'm all right, mate. Well, what a weekend. What did you reckon to it all?
I didn't watch all of it, mate. Like I was tied up doing other things.
Yeah.
It it's another weekend where we had two cards that were like if you added them all up together, they were kind of okay.
Yeah.
But I guess if you're outside of London, you're probably buzzing about that. So I can't disrespect the feelings that other people have towards those cards.
What did you think to Eni against your guy, Bentley?
Um, I understand what was going on behind the scenes, so I get it. I know Denzel's massively upset because he's a proud man, but boxing's a small part of life. So, sometimes there's a bigger picture that you got to focus on. So now I understood entirely.
Yeah, yeah. Tony Bellew's going in. I'm a celebrity. What do you think of that, Terry?
So one of two things is going to happen, Russ.
Yeah.
He's going to go full SpongeBob SquarePants, or he's going to start crying.
Yeah.
Because you know what he's like. Like he doesn't do like he can't just be sensible. You know what I mean? Like he's got to be one extreme or the other. Like he just won't do moderate when he's in there. But I think the lesson from that, because David went in there, and the lesson from that jungle experience is you got to be level. Like you can't get too high, you can't get too low. So we'll see how he copes.
It looks like there's not many big names in there, doesn't it? They don't, if you look.
It's probably lost its power, hasn't it? It's not what it used to be.
Yeah, it's no, it was like a breath of fresh air when David A and them on it, Amir Khan and them, but it seems to have gone up at boil a bit, doesn't it now?
You know what? We're in the social media age, Russ. We see these people all the time. Like,
yeah,
I think we're just bored.
Well, everybody's bored of Tony Bellew. We were supposed to be disappearing. We're seeing more now than when he was fighting.
That's when you know that boxing money wasn't as nice as maybe people were making out. Remember when promoters were telling you, yeah, I look after my fighters, I make sure that they can, retire comfortably. Well, maybe not.
Listen, mate, it's an hard slog, mate, boxing. It's an hard slog, and there's that 2% that make it to millionaire status.
Probably less than 1% of boxers.
It is probably that. It's probably that. This Saudi thing, right? You've seen that this morning. That's come out that IFL have put out. It looks like anybody who wants to be critical or looks like they're even going to ask an hard question, they're getting rid of them straight away. One question was asked all week regarding drug testing, and you saw Bricktop shut him down straight away, didn't they? That was it. Nobody else has come close. Adam Castro had a bit of a pop regarding it now being February and saying that it keeps getting away from us and away from us and away from us. And he's right, because we've heard this undisputed chat for nearly a quarter of a century now, haven't we, Terry? So you can understand people like Castro being a bit fed up with promoters. Do you agree?
How many times have you heard me say it, Russ? 2017 scared boxing. Suddenly fans, every month we were getting a fight we wanted, right? And a lot of it was free to air.
Yeah.
And we were happy as fans. We had DeGale Jack, Frampton Santa Cruz, Hey Bellew won, Joshua Klitschko. And that's just like the first half of the year. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
We were spoiled, Russ. We were spoiled. The word we should probably use is we were blessed a lot. Like, we had a lot of good fights. I don't know if Ward and Kovalev fought that year as well. I think they probably did. That's a lot of good fights we got to consume. And suddenly the promoters are like, well, at this rate, we're going to have no fights left by 2020. And then there's just been this active process of delaying all of these fights. And I refuse to believe it's the fighters' problem, because I believe they're controlled by the same 2 or 3 people, right? Yeah. And it's not the promoters who are making this call. Let's ask a real question. Number one, does Tyson Fury want to box, or is he boxing because he's someone's cash cow and they need to get their money out of him as soon as possible? Don't know the answer to that. It feels like he's being forced to box against his will. It wouldn't be a surprise if he has a therapeutic use exemption for all kinds of mood enhancing drugs, we'll call them. I worry about his spiritual health and what's going to happen to him after he's done with boxing. I look at Joshua. Everything Joshua has shown me in the last 2 years says he's just trying to get to the end of his career and make as much money as he can. The legacy thing's a wrap now. He doesn't care. And that just leaves us with Wilder and Usyk, who seem to be the only two people who are just solely focused on boxing. That's a sad state of affairs, mate. It's a horrible state of affairs when that's where we're at. Now, in terms of Saudi, I'm okay with Saudi saying don't ask any hard questions because they're paying people pretty good, to be out there, Russ.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're there on a jolly, right? Why should you need to go to Saudi Arabia to ask hard questions? Why weren't you doing it here?
Yeah.
So if the Saudis say, if you come over here, keep your mouth shut, fair enough. I don't mind that. They're all being paid well. They're being flown out nicely. They're not flying economy to get out there. So do as you're told. Why didn't they get you out there?
They're not going to get me out there because
you're not halal, mate.
Well, what would happen? Well, what would happen is if I were put in a situation where I got to ask these questions, I would be prepared, and I would have at least 10 questions for each person out there already off the hip. Even if there's no cameras rolling and somebody bumps into me in so much as an hotel lobby, and they say, "How are you?" Blah blah blah. They get talking about boxing, I'll go bump. What about that fight you said you were going to make? Why didn't that happen? I'd be straight on them like a rash.
The porkinator.
You know that. What I wanted to ask you is, me and Kent had a bit of a debate. Going back,
so it is, man. So it is. It is, but it is not. It is not what it is, man.
Don't you be having a go at Kent, our colleague?
No, I don't. I'll be working on my Belfast accent.
Yeah, right. Well, Kent and me have whittled it down to, in British history, going back to war, we hadn't done before war yet. He's on with it now. Fighters, right? We've got it down to 7 guys from the UK who've won at least 10 world title fights. That's guys who are, are hanging around in a certain area and actually doing the business. Nazim Ahmed, Johnny Nelson, Joe Calzaghe. Go on. You're going to say WBO defenses now, aren't you? Let me just get them out. Nazim Ahmed, Johnny Nelson, Calzaghe, and Eubank and Ben. Now, I know they're all WBOs, but Ben did have some WBCs in there. Then you've got Froch and Lennox. They're the 7 guys. If there's any more than them 7, does anybody know? So if we've only got 7 guys going back to World War II, and I think that's probably all we've got, what does that say? Does fighters in the UK, do they win a world title and then does that it? They get to the top of the mountain and they want to pack in. What happened to staying at the top of the mountain?
Oh, let's look at how they got there, Russ. British fighters always get snuck in.
Yeah, right? Snuck in. Well, all right then. Well, Nazim Ahmed.
Not Naz. Naz, for what Naz was, fair play to him. Because he boxed at a weight class he was probably too small for. So by the time he lost to Barrera, he'd probably moved 1 weight class too far.
Ricky Burns, one of his free weight championships. One of them where he got an email in post to say he'd been upgraded. Nathan Cleverly couldn't fight Bramer because he weren't allowed to fight in England because his bail conditions, because he beat somebody up, didn't he, Bramer? He weren't allowed to leave Germany. Bricktop still made the fight in the UK. He never turned up for the weigh-in, and then they stripped him, WBO, and awarded it to Cleverly. So he were by default, and Enzo Maccarinelli by default. Denis Lebedev on a Bricktop show, he were by default. Need I go on? When Nicky
that's the point.
Go on and on and on and on and on. Bricktop, don't you start bullying people like Adam Cattrall when you've handed at least 6 belts out to people, world titles, via email. So do not try and insult fellow colleagues of ours who we like. All right, Bricktop, you weapon. I had to get that in.
But also, and I've had this debate as well. Russ, what do you say to people that talk slick to you?
Talk slick to me. What, in
Yeah.
boxing?
In life in general, you're like, come see me, right? That's what you say.
Yeah. I just
So
say
Frank,
it's so much same energy.
yeah. So Frank rolled up on Adam Cattrall and said, "Okay, I'm here now. What's
Yeah,
going
and he
on?"
never had his questions ready. I would have had mine ready because I know it off by heart what I'd asked them. Adam Cattrall
Yeah.
had his moment and I feel let down. But he maybe were a bit flustered, I don't know. Maybe he might have his balls together now. Brickshop's not there and he can get his mind thinking. But when somebody puts it on you like that and there's a camera rolling, it is quite hard. But he should have took a moment, got his thoughts together and gone after him because he'll regret that now.
That's my whole point. You got to say what you believe in. If it's in your heart, if what you say is from the heart, Russ, you don't forget it under pressure.
Do you know what I'd have said? If he'd have said, "Here, you, Mouthy, on YouTube, you, bedroom vlogger, what are you going on about?" I'll say, "Here, listen, you. You said, pipe down December 23rd, you wheeled out Spencer Brown. Everybody backed off then because we were all insulted as bedroom bloggers. That were on the Monday afternoon. Early hours Sunday, we're off the fight. December 23rd, Usyk Fury. So what does he expect Adam Cattrall to say? Oh, sorry, Frank, you put it back 2 months. You see where I'm coming from, Terry? So Bricktop can't have it both ways. But the problem is, people fill the nappies in his presence. I wouldn't fill my nappy in his presence. Him, he's a bag of bones. He tried that with Dennis and it didn't work. He is a bag of bones. That's all he is, mate, a bag of bones. He tried it with Dennis. Dennis says, "You owe me 25 bags, you. Let's flip a coin for it." He went white as a sheet. Yeah, he flipped coin. And he won. He had no choice. But if he'd have owed Dennis 50, Dennis wouldn't have got 50 of him. He couldn't even get the 25 off him. And that were Clinton Woods' training expenses for Calzaghe account. And you know as much as me about that, Terry. You've heard what Dennis had to say about it. I've seen the emails. So I know what they're about, Queensborough. So don't be. They need to stop going around and stop with this bullying tactics. I remember when they were bouncing checks, £15,000 to Curtis Woodhouse, but nobody's allowed to mention that, are they?
Yeah.
Hey, they were making fights for Derek Chisora and Wilder. Wilder even knowing having pressers at Wembley. What was that other one they did? Hopkins Cleverly. What were all that about? That never happened. You know, he needs to pipe down Bricktop, not making fights and moving dates. He's the daddy at it. You've just seen we've gone from December 23rd. Yeah, they've saved that one, haven't they? They had to do, didn't they? To Feb. Well, let's see if they've got that same energy in Feb, because if anything happens between now and Feb to Fury, it's on Bricktop's toes, isn't it? Even if it's a genuine injury, nobody's going to believe it, are they?
No, we've kind of lost interest.
Exactly, it's gone on too far. They've overkilled it for 25 years, this undisputed. All roads lead to undisputed. Anthony Joshua, it's about undisputed. It ain't about undisputed. Oh, you'd have fought Wilder when we could have had it. Stop lying, Eddie. You know, they flew Wilder over 17 April. Paid him 50 grand. They put him in Hilton. You're going to fight the winner of Vlad and AJ. What happened? It were a life and death. Joshua went back into his shell. Am I right?
Yeah, 100%.
And what's happened since then? Are we to believe it's going to happen now? Oh, well, they've got him on the same card now on December 23rd. Yeah, but are they fighting? No. Oh, it's going to be in Feb. It's going to be in Feb on Fury Usyk undercard. Oh, is it? Well, that's not 100%. Fury, his head might go in next 2 months. Rubbish,
So,
mate. They've got him in the
well,
same arena in 6 weeks. It should be happening then, Joshua Wilder.
right. So that was my argument. I was like, if you've got the money to pay Joshua and you've got the money to pay Wilder, you could do the fight now, right? But my theory is, the guy Turkey has probably promised MBS, his boss, 3 fight cards in Riyadh season. 1 to open, 1 in the middle, 1 to close. Right? He's probably promised them that. And if that's what he's done, then there will be 3 fight cards. Guaranteed. Saudis don't mess around. If they got paid, they'll pay for it. But when they pay, they want performance. Fury knows he's not going to see this kind of money ever again. He will show up. If Fury's on one leg, he will show up. Right? And then I think that might be the last time we see Tyson Fury in the boxing.
They're all going to show up, aren't they? Lyndon Harper showed up on crutches, didn't he? What? Mate, nobody's going to not show up there, are they, for that kind of money? They're going to go to the ring, not 100%, not say a word.
Yeah. And everyone knows that this Saudi money is not going to last forever. Right? Once Fury Usyk is done, and I actually think it will happen for no other reason than the Saudis are involved. I think if this was just down to the British promoters, it wouldn't happen. But I think the Saudis are like this. If this doesn't happen, there'll be no more boxing in Saudi Arabia, is what they'll say.
Well, we're going to see.
Because look at how Turkey had everybody behaving. He told everyone was on notice. You act the fool here, you ain't getting this money. But like I've said to you before, Russ, the same person that controls Fury is the same person that controls Joshua. If those two are going to fight, they'll get the order. And they'll be told when they're fighting, where they're fighting. Guaranteed. They're controlled by the same person.
What did you think to Dev Sandwich, the host, of the event, the presser, turning around and asking Anthony Joshua questions about his career, which I don't think they were not wrong with that. And Joshua turned it into, I only speak to Eddie. Why is that? Does that mean that for the last 11 and a half years, every time he's been interviewing him, it's all been staged by them all? Is that what it's looking like, Terry? Because it does to me, doesn't it? Does it you?
No. Hold on. Let's be very clear, Pork. Dev was instigating, and I said it on my episode, and I'll say it to Dev as well. Dev was instigating because he asked Wilder the same question for about 2 minutes. And by the way, it was a question we wanted asking.
Yeah.
So it was the right question to ask. But if you're gonna praise Deontay Wilder's power and then say, do you think that might have scared Anthony Joshua? You got to know Joshua's not going to be happy when he's sat on your right-hand side. So I know what Dev was doing, and I think we can all agree as boxing fans, he was asking the right question. Because if you've got Joshua and Wilder in, then we want to know, Deontay, do you think Joshua's scared of your power? And Wilder kind of hinted at it. He said, when I knock people out, maybe it makes other people scared to fight me. And then Dev quite rightly says, Anthony. And then Joshua got defensive because that would have been awkward for Joshua to answer the question, are you scared of Wilder's power? Because if you notice in that press conference, Russ, Joshua did everything he could to avoid confrontation with Wilder.
Yeah. Oh, he did, yeah.
Yeah. Went after Jarrell Miller without a second thought, got put back in his place. And as soon as Wilder started talking, you saw Joshua he was like a guy that just said, I hope he doesn't notice I'm here. I hope he doesn't notice I'm here. Because if he notices I'm here, he might ask me why we're not fighting. Josh just looked nervous anytime he was around Wilder.
Yeah, he looked nervous all day. Parker looked nervous as well, I thought.
Well, he knows what's about to happen.
There's a guy on here. I forgot his name now. He's a troll. I call him a super troll. He's called Cyborg Boxing. He's Australian. And he thinks that Jeff Fenech smashes Froch up. Unbelievable.
Are they even the same weight class?
Well, he's a light heavyweight, but he reckons if he did it at a catchweight, he'd smash Froch to bits.
Jeff Fenech?
Trained Mike Tyson, didn't he, for a bit? Fenech, is it Jeff Fenech?
It's Fenech, but yeah, Jeff Fenech would beat Carl Froch.
Yeah.
I'm the only person that could beat Carl Froch. Me and Andre Ward.
I should have told him that. Should have told him that, shouldn't I? But some people get carried away. It's like this There's a lunatic on here. If you see his comment, say hello. He's called Paul Rogers. He is seriously losing his mind over Fury Power Group.
Fury Power.
He thinks Fury's better than Ali. And
Who does? Wait, hold on.
this
Who
guy
does?
thinks he's better than Ali. And
What, the same guy?
thinks that Fury's the greatest ever. He's a goat. Thinks he's a goat.
Wait, hold on. So he thinks Fury's the greatest ever, and he thinks that Jeff Fenwick would beat Carl Froch.
No, the other one. These are just two super trolls. One of them thinks that Fenech smashes Froch up at a catch weight between 168 and 175. Other one,
Wait,
Tyson Fury down as a goat, but yet he's beat a cruiserweight, and he's beat an old guy once, and he beat Wilder twice. So he's beat Cunningham, Vladimir, and Wilder, but he's a goat, according to this guy.
Well, number one, Jeff Fenwick fought Azuma Nelson. He'd have no business in the ring with Carl Froch.
No, you might have that. You might have name wrong there, Terry. He's a 175. This Aussie guy. 2 seconds. Let me get. Yeah, Australian. He's a 175, mate.
Who the hell would that be?
Well, he's 59-year-old. Did Jeff Bannock train Mike Tyson? In March 2005, he trained Mike Tyson.
Okay, but the Jeff Fenwick I know is an Australian guy who used to train with Emmanuel Stewart, and he's small. He's like a bantamweight.
No, he must have it wrong, Tel. I've sent you him on BoxRec. This guy here smashes the Cobra to bits, according to this guy. Well, I watched him on YouTube. I know he works in trained Mike Tyson. Let me tell you this. He wouldn't win an area belt in UK against Jake Ball.
Who? One sec. Mate, the link you sent me says he boxed at super bantamweight. This is Jeff Fenwick.
Well, I must have spelt it wrong then.
Well, this is. I'm just looking at the link you sent me.
Yeah, I must have spelt it wrong then. I must have wrong there. Oi, troll, Cyborg Boxing. Send me that guy's name, or you keep going on about this 175 Australian daddy. And what? Because nobody's heard of him.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Unless he's going to say like Tony Mundine, but it can't be Anthony Mundine either. Jesus, come on. Like, Australia is not the place to go for Hall of Fame boxing talent.
Don't you reckon?
Nah, it's not at all, Russ.
Yeah, it's. I'm sure I might have name wrong. Let's have a look. There can't be that many, can there?
What did he put in his email?
I don't know. It was. I forgot. No, it was that long ago. But I'm just looking now. There ain't that many champions from Australia at 175, is there?
If any.
If any, yeah. Lucas Brown, he was a world champion, wasn't he, from
Froch would beat him easy.
Dave Allen done Brown, didn't he?
Yeah, Froch would beat. Yeah, even giving up all of that weight, he'd beat Lucas Brown.
Yeah, he is a super bantam. I must have name wrong. I get that much emails off people. I think it might have been Tony Mundane, actually. Might have been him. Is he a light heavy? Yeah, he's a light heavy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a big guy, super middle.
Yeah, Troll. Send me that thing, Troll. You know, you've been going to come on here for 6 years. You've been commenting 6 years. See, this is what I don't like, Terry. You know, when people have plenty rattle for years and years on here, they have plenty to say, plenty in emails. So then I say, it's really nice of you, telling me all these nice things every other day in emails and that. Send me a number and we'll have a chat on video. Oh, can't do that. I don't give my number out. But you're just telling me I'm such a great guy. So give me a number and great guys can speak. You ask for the number, Terry. They crawl off, don't they?
They don't want it.
Let's have a chat on video. They all go missing, don't they? All they love my channel that much. They think I'm so great. Well, why are you not a member then? Why are you not a member if you love this channel that much? Give me your phone and we'll have a chat then. Oh, I can't do that. So why do you love me so great? You want to email and text me? Ask you for your number. Let's do a video. They go missing, mate, don't they? That's what happened. This is the problem with social media, because 90% of them are acting out fantasies, pretending to be somebody else. Now, if they want to show me that they're genuine, that other 10%, you send me your number and I'll have a ring. We'll have a chat with you on video. And I need to be going back and forth with people in emails and comments. Send me your number if you want to chat with me. Let's have a look at you. That's what I say. Instead of waking up to 140 messages a day and 25 emails that I'm having to go through. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's see who you are. Let's see who you are. Send me your number. Stop emailing me nonsense, tickling me arsehole. Tell me something I don't know. Send me your number. Let's have a chat. Let's have you on Zoom. Oh, you big hitters. You know what I mean? There's too many of them, big hitters. Plenty to say, but they don't want to say it on camera.
Yeah,
They
weird.
don't even want to. They don't even want to have the voice out there, Terry. We know why that is, don't we? Because they're not.
Everyone's brave behind the mask, Porky. Everyone's brave behind the mask.
Hey, unbelievable. I heard that Shane Fury piping up on WhatsApp. A few people cheesed up with him the other day. If anybody's got out to say to you, Shane Fury, they'll say it to your face. I will if I see you.
Wait, hold on. Wait.
Did you hear him piping up on that WhatsApp thing the other day?
No, what WhatsApp thing?
Who's that guy who keeps putting it on his dad? The Tony Summit. I've heard he's a right good fighter. He's a kickboxer, MMA, a boxer. Tony Summit, some travelling kid. I think he might be from down south. He's a bit warm. He keeps putting it on him, doesn't he? So Big Shane felt that he had to pipe up and reply to him. And if anybody's got out to say they're not unhappy, go approach him. Well, why do we need to go approach you, surrounded by security? Get yourself some balls grown, Shane Fury, and get on a Zoom. I've got about 8 questions here. Remember, in fact, wait there. I'll tell you how many I've got to ask him. Here we are, Shane Fury. 5 questions for you, 9 for your dad. You'll crawl away if I ask. I won't get halfway through them and you crawl away. You mind all this all stage stuff and old pals act, asking you questions like that Boxing King media guy. He's old Bill him. They all go on about what's right and wrong. He works for South Yorkshire Police. You want to do interviews with him where it's all nice and cosy? I'm on about proper boxing interviews where people are going to ask you proper questions about dates and why fights didn't, happen and who wanted what cuts. That's what we want to know. The nitty gritty. We don't want to know about dates and it's December. Oh, it's February now. We get to Feb. Oh, Easter. Then Easter. Oh, it's August bank holiday. We're going round in circles. We've been doing it for 25 years. And now they're trying to shut the media up. They shut TalkSport down that shower, and now they're trying to bully that Adam Cattrall there at the show. What is all that about? Come and bully me. Come and bully me on here. You won't bully me, will you? Because they'll be running for your cover if I open my gob. Until you get on the wrong side of me, I'll turn camera and I'll leave it on. And they'll crawl away all that shower of shit. Sick of them. Won't try and, I don't like that. What Bricktop did to that Adam Cattrall were bullying. It was what Mickey Duff did to Steve Bunce when he threw him out of that presser years ago and banned him for 2 years for asking a proper question about one of Frank Bruno's matchups. I think it might have been that John Emmon or something. It's bullying, utter bullying. You know what I mean? I don't know. What do you think, Tal?
What about, where do you want me to start?
Well, the TalkSport, aren't they? Now they're putting it on people. And have you noticed, right? And I'll tell you after we've had this conversation. A few people in media, old school, are like turning around and they're saying to people that they don't feel intimidated when they're interviewing Tyson Fury, but they just get the impression that if they're more or less being told what they can ask, before it starts, because he's being sharp with them and putting it on them straight away. If they go down any tough route of questioning. Do you see where I'm coming from, Terry?
Like, mate, this is for me. These sorts of things are quite complicated, right? So I have a principle that goes like this. I rarely trust people that go into business for themselves, Russ.
Yeah.
So it's a delicate line that let's say I'm the famous person. Let's just say by some fluke I've become a world champion, right? I don't want some smart ass YouTuber coming in and trying to wreck my situation because there's a lot of money at stake. I mean, no one knows who I've got to feed off my money. So I can't have people just coming in rocking the boat, right? But on the other side, as fans, we don't want to feel like we're being disrespected, right? We don't. We don't want to feel like we're being lied to because it's ultimately our money that makes them rich. So there's a balancing act that needs to happen. And I think we talked about this earlier. What's the point in going to Saudi Arabia or Vegas and asking questions you don't have the balls to ask in the UK? That's what I don't respect. Look at TalkSport. TalkSport always try and talk about they're here for accountability and this, that, and the other. But they've got Gareth A. Davis shucking and jiving at every boxing-related event. They've got Spencer Oliver, who's a lovely man, by the way, but he's at every event. And these people all claim to be old school, this, that, and the other, but they jump on any bandwagon that goes, right? They do. So it's very hard to respect people who jump on bandwagons, Russ. That's the problem I have. So TalkSport can't be martyrs or heroes to me because they've jumped on every bandwagon. And people are upset now because Frank's gone, well, hold on. Without me, you guys are nobody.
Well, that's not exactly true, is it? Because theirs is the biggest traffic on a daily basis in boxing in the UK, and it talks about if you go and have a look. Well, it's not Coogan and seconds out of that, even though they've got 6 times the following. They're the biggest traffic TalkSport.
Okay, but what does that mean? Like most of those people won't buy tickets anyway, so who cares?
Yeah, I understand, but what I'm saying is they've banned the biggest traffic for boxing because they are more or less tell it straight TalkSport, don't they? And they don't want.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Don't you reckon that, Terry? I don't agree with that.
No. I think they're a bunch of clowns from top to bottom. I think TalkSport are a bunch of clowns.
Yeah.
They don't show up prepared, right? They claim that they're going to hold people to account, and when
I understand that. You're on about that Spencer Oliver one now, aren't you? Where they had Miller, and then he didn't say and then an hour later you're on IFL slagging him on it. I know what you're on about. Yeah.
There's that. There's a Simon Jordan stuff.
I saw that one with Oliver. That was bad.
So I can't give them the respect because it's not like it's Porky's Corner where it's one man doing everything. This is a whole business organization, Russ. They got Michael Benson just sat on Twitter all day, for God's sake. Do you know what I mean? How are they getting things wrong? They shouldn't be getting a damn thing wrong, and they do. To the point where these promoters know they can go on there for an easy time. So I'm not a fan of TalkSport in that sense. I think their boxing lineup is poor. You tell me who's any good out of their boxing lineup. Who's any good, Russ?
I think Adam Castrol's good.
Mediocre.
What do you think Frotches to say he's the next fighter? Do you think he's all right?
But he's not one of the regular panel. They just kind of wheel him out for
once a week, isn't it?
Yeah. So and then Frotcher's got his own. Frotcher's got his own thing, his own platform, where he's probably a bit harder hitting anyway.
Yeah, and that'll be on 100,000 about February, they reckon. So he'll be buzzing then, won't
he? Yeah. So someone explain to me what is the point of TalkSport then? If they don't have the right people in place, they got that Addy kid who Arsenic's Matchroom anyway. So he can't be critical because he's got to go back
to him. That age, he used to be all right when he had his own channel. Has he still got his own channel?
Listen, he's being paid by somebody now, right? So he's got to behave himself.
Yeah, because he's not as outspoken on YouTube now, is he?
He was never outspoken. It was just the guy that sat in a green chair.
Do you think he basically might have got on there for the same sort of carry on as how Johnny Nelson got on at Sky? Were convenient at the time.
I think Johnny Nelson's really good. I think
he's come out of his shell a bit, hasn't he, lately?
Johnny Nelson, and I speak as someone that's known Johnny over 20 years now. The Johnny you're seeing now is the Johnny you used to see in the gym. Just very straight talking, says what he thinks. Like, he doesn't hold extreme views about many things. He'll just say what he thinks. I think at Matchroom, when they were at Sky, there was a message that had, I mean, there was very much a controlling culture about what needed to be said. And it was always about, we need to create characters and build storylines. Because you're seeing, look, I'll give you an example. It's no coincidence that Bellew's become the new company man at a time where Johnny Nelson's become quite interesting to listen to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So they basically took the earpiece out of Johnny and put it into Tony and said, right, now you're going to take instructions.
Yeah.
So I'm a big Johnny Nelson fan. Like Johnny Nelson, I think he knows boxing, he understands boxing, and I'm always willing to listen, Russ. I'm always willing to listen to guys that came up the hard way.
Well,
Yeah?
Johnny came
Because
up the hard way, didn't he?
that's what I'm saying. So he'll always have that perspective of, yes, I've been world champion, but I also know what it's like to lose 3 or 4 on the bounce.
Yeah. Yeah, he does, doesn't he? He does. And Johnny he hasn't really got that many wins on his record, has he? Well, more or less propping shows that we Naz won him when Naz were on tour, wasn't he? You know, back in the day.
No. You don't defend the belt that many times.
No, but wait, how many times did he defend the belt and he were an headline? Not that many, is it, really?
Yeah, I don't know if I would want him to headline, and I'd say that to his face, but he can only fight. Do you know what I mean? The commercial side is down to other people, Russ. He can only fight.
Yeah, I understand that. But like I said, when you're not a headline act and you've got a world title, you're in a division nobody cares about. Because when Johnny had that belt, nobody cared about that division. Let's have it right. Nobody cared, right? And he's got that belt, and you're not headlining. You're not going to be in there with anybody any great shakes. Are you? Who's his best win? Johnny Nelson's. Can anybody tell me 3 of his best wins? Ezra Sellers, is it? Carl Thompson and a other one. I can't even tell you.
Okay, but
Dennis Andrews, was it? I don't know.
But are we saying that Carl Thompson's no good?
No, we're not saying Carl Thompson isn't no good at all. What we're saying is he's got a Carl Thompson dodgy stoppage on his record. That's it. It says Carl Thompson winning record books, isn't it?
And that's where we go, right? We always go to the record books.
Yeah. So
you taught me that, Pork. You taught me. You always got to go to the source.
And if Johnny Nelson, if Carl Thompson says, "Yeah, I got beat by Johnny Nelson," I'll just say you're a small man. Carl Thompson lost to Crawford Ashley, actually.
Hey, Crawford was no joke.
Yeah, I know, it was no joke. But he had a massive run. He had a really good run, Carl Thompson. But like I said, when Johnny Nelson did him, he was never the same after. But it is what it is, isn't it? But Johnny beat Bruce Scott, so his record's not that bad, is it?
This is what, look, the thing about records is they always look worse as time goes on, and I never understand that. Like, we have a real thing about recency bias, don't we? The things we saw most recently tend to be the most impressive. For a British boxer, Johnny Nelson's up there, because we always complain that guys never held on to their belts, and he did.
Yeah, well, he fought Henry Akin one day and lost on points. Same Henry Akin one day, who 11 fights earlier fought Big John Fury from Fury Power, the man with the gruffy voice to make him sound harder. In the ring or on the soft stand, pop, pop, bang. 25 are watching me from the moon, 200-kilo deadlifts with me Corey.
I remember talking about, because I remember Johnny Nelson fought a guy called Michael Murray. Michael Murray was a heavyweight from Manchester.
Yeah.
And I used to date his daughter years and years ago.
Yeah.
That's another story for another time.
Go on, Terry.
And